Good evening. Welcome to May 28th, 2020 Planning Board meeting. First, I'm going to welcome Pastor Bill to he's a new alternate as of, I don't know, this is the first meeting anyway.
3 weeks ago.
3 weeks, yeah, it'll be a month,
Almost.
Monday, yeah.
This is the first meeting anyway, so.
Yep.
Welcome him. And I'm also going to appoint him a voting member right off the bat. I remembered to do that for a change. That means we have 5 people, because Bruce is on the phones, Bruce Fillmore's on the phone. Neil is sitting in the audience, so we can keep the social distancing for everybody on TV. I'm going to move the first item on the agenda to the end to start off with. So the next item on the agenda is Duck Pond subdivision, which hopefully is going to be fairly easy, because I see everybody in the audience is very familiar with it or else not interested at all, more than likely. We met last month on this, and we were advised by an attorney for the municipal association we didn't need to notify the abutters. Then we got the meeting over with and everything done, and our town attorney said, no, you need to notify the abutters. So we notified the abutters. And Mr. Vinnie is back for the same thing. We got note 3, I think it is, note 2 in the plan that states, I'm going from memory here, so you might want to help me, Vinnie.
Note 3.
Note 3
3.
and note 12.
Note 3 says the houses will be sprinkled. Note 12 says there'll be a cistern and all houses further than 2,200 feet will be sprinkled. So there's a conflict on the plans. I'm sure, I was not on the board at the time of the submittal. I was the approval, but that's beside the point. We met, and the town, Vinnie, everybody kind of decided that the original subdivision submittal said to have sprinkles. It was then revised after meeting with the fire wards, et cetera, and note 12 was added, saying a cistern. And note 3 never got revised. So right now, there's a conflict on the approved plans. The purpose of the meeting is to get rid of the confusion, enter into an agreement with NVAC, which will be recorded, stating that I don't have this, what it's gonna state with me. Thank you, ma'am. Always on the ball. Basically, that note 12 is gonna be the one enforced. NVAC will install a 30,000 gallon cistern as shown. The cistern will be installed and approved prior to the issuance of any, installed and approved by the Ware Fire Rescue prior to the issuance of any certificate of occupancy. NVAC shall provide prior to the issuance of any certificate of occupancy at no cost to town of Ware Fire Rescue a supply hose system consisting of hose and related equipment as identified in addendum 1, which I wasn't going to go through again.
We don't have to read the letter in. We already had the letter from Chief Vizina at the
Yes.
last meeting, correct?
Right. You met with the... you
That
met
letter
with-
was addressed to you?
Yes, no, this letter's addressed to me, yes,
Yes, right.
yes. From Fire Rescue to me.
Did you see the back on the last
That's-
page in red?
Yeah, a place for us to sign.
Yes.
That's what I think the attorney should look at, because
Well, actually,
She did, she was fine with that.
with
Right.
this being
We're-
recorded.
I think we,
Yes,
I
but
think
that
we need,
recorded in the chair to sign. A signature for the chair.
I think we have to, don't we have to do a cover sheet to record the letter for the registry?
Yeah, something has to be
Yeah,
done.
it's gotta be
This-
4
this-
inches
this-
down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Make a motion to remove item 3 then from the plan.
and then an agreement.
And
Okay.
go with, and enter into the agreement as put forth by the fire rescue, Ware Fire Rescue for the cisterns.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Discussion. I know Neil's gonna wanna say something, because he did last time, and I understand.
Yes, as in the first case, I will be voting against this because I think this places a benefit to the subdivider at the expense of the town taxpayers, and that to me is not an appropriate amendment to any kind of a plan. So I will be voting against this.
Well, before I bring up the vote, I would say the same thing I said a month ago, is that while it is a benefit to the developer, it's also a benefit to the town, in my opinion. I'm forgetting, suppose it's gonna be good for, I don't know what time is good for, but it's replacing what we already have. Any other comments, questions, discussion?
Did Bruce get all of it?
I got all of it.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed?
Passes 4-1. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And will Laura draw up the cover sheet, and then we can, Craig can sign the document, and Mr. Tebow can sign, and we can get, I imagine I'll let her record it.
You want her to draw up the cover sheet?
The cover sheet for recording, that's in keeping with the town
Sure.
regulations. You know, we'll cover the cost of that. I think we had discussed that at the last meeting.
Yep.
So rather than sending it back and forth between attorneys, if she draws it up and we reference the letter,
And
we'll
then she
get it
can have
executed.
the proper signature
Yes.
lines too, and then you can have it recorded.
Yes,
And I'll let you know what her fee is.
very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Second item on the agenda is a lot line adjustment application for Christopher Parsons at 138 Jewett Road, and Rosemary at 144 Jewett Road.
Do you have your cell phone on you?
I do.
Is this phone number that if you needed anything from him, he wanted you to call him?
Oh.
Kelly was nice enough to mail us all a nice package. A month ago or so. Yeah, May 5th.
Anybody want that?
I don't have that.
I have extra too, but if you wanted to safely share,
We'll safely share.
Safely, yeah, that's right.
I did not go through the checklist at all.
yes, there are two waivers.
I did see that, the waiver request.
Let's see what we
Did
got.
I not send you the checklist? Yeah, it's
Here's a
part of
waiver
the-
request for item number 13 on
Kelly,
the
do you have a
top,
map?
topography number 14.
Is there a well on what?
You know, I just drew it in on my plan to remind me to put it on there. There is. It's slightly north of the house.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
This way.
Is there a well on the
The well?
There's a dug well.
22?
Yeah, there's two wells.
On 23?
There's a
No,
drilled well and a dug well.
Yep.
On the other lot?
On the other lot, there's a
On the
drilled
other-
well that I know I located, but it's for some reason not on my
It's
plan.
north of the house.
Yep.
Oh, a little
Yeah.
Kentucky
How about
windage.
Leachfields?
Yeah, right about there. What's that?
How about Leachfields?
They both have them.
Good. Do we know where they are?
Yep, I do.
South of the
Can you
house.
share that information with us?
I will. Yeah. So yeah, the
You haven't been to a meeting in a while, have you?
I haven't looked at this plan in a while. It was April 14th. Well, anyway, the on lot 22, the leach field is south of the house.
That's good.
Kind of kitty corner from it, and lot 23, it's south of the house as well.
Close enough. It's south of the house.
I'll draw them. I'll get them.
We'll make sure they're there for the.
I'll get them on the
Yeah.
plan.
Those stupid frozen layers.
Greg,
Yes.
question?
Well, we get the checklist first and get accepted. Soil types. Are there any wetlands?
The waivers were for wetlands and topography. still a buffer requirement, though. I see you crossing out that note. I mean,
Yeah, well, it's kind of silly.
there's a little,
All right, we'll leave that.
there's a small amount of wetland within the 50-foot front buffer, south of the driveway on lot 23.
Somewhere, okay.
It's an isolated pocket. It's not anything that flows through.
So we have two waivers one for topography and one for the wetlands, which we do typically waive on these wetland adjustments.
Move that we grant the waivers.
Second.
You guys are quick.
I like his style.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So I would say, Bruce, you're still there, okay.
Bruce is still here.
Out of nowhere.
Okay, so we got the waivers granted.
The purpose of,
You make a motion to accept this complete?
yes, I move that
That's-
we.
that's what I thought you were gonna
Accept
do.
the application is complete.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Now we have a question.
The purpose of this is to allow a proposed addition which would, without this, be too close to the lot line.
Well,
Partly.
so these people called me up and said, hey, we want to put on an addition, we need a plot plan. I said, okay. So I went out and surveyed it, and I said, well, the addition you want to put on is too close to the lot line. And your well is not on your property. So we should probably adjust the lot line to collect your well, which will give you enough room in the setback to do your addition. And the neighbor was fine with it, so here we are. So this is, started out life as a plot plan, because they wanted an addition, and we wound up having to adjust the lot line to make it all work.
Thank you.
And I don't know who lived here, you'll appreciate this, Craig, who lived here in the years gone by, but there was two pins on either end that were both moved in the same distance, which
No.
made it a little confusing to start, but there were witness pins that had drill holes below them. So once I found the drill holes, then I could, at first I was like, oh, this is kind of weird. Okay, let's figure it out. And then, yep, sure enough. They were smart. They moved two of them, in the same direction, the same distance. But you're never gonna, it never works.
I
'Cause
had
there's
the butter and hooks that do
Wow,
that.
there's-
Put two control points and two pins,
right.
roughly the same distance in the same direction.
But when there's 20 other pins that don't jive, it's easy to figure out. But I was like, well, that's crafty.
I missed it.
Gotta give them a little credit. Any other questions?
I've got a question for the chairman.
Uh-oh. Yes, sir.
He's making one of the lots smaller.
Yes.
One's obviously growing, the other one's getting smaller. I don't know if we can do that, can we, without a variance?
They both still meet loading.
It's in the residential, right?
Yep.
Yes, it's in residential.
On Jewett Road, that's zone residential? Okay.
Yep.
No 4 says.
That's one of the first things we checked on to make sure we didn't have to go to the ZBA first.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the application.
I'll second it.
Oh, you guys are quick. So for discussion purposes, we can add to that motion showing the well on lot 22 and the leach field on both lots? And correct the spelling in plan reference number 7? I always get you on one of those.
I had one too.
Which,
Little line.
oh,
Kelly has another one.
Lot line.
yeah.
Lot little
Typo.
line. Lot little-
And then I have the spelling of map in note number 1.
Spelling of map?
Ooh, MAO.
Oh, yeah, man, wow.
And you're gonna stamp your plan, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.
Oh, that'd be nice, yeah.
I generally don't stamp the preliminaries because then,
You don't?
well, if you find a plan that doesn't have a stamp on it, that's a red flag that, hey, this isn't
Oh,
a
that's true.
final.
What are you talking
So
about?
when you find one that's got a stamp, you know it's a final and good to
Oh,
go.
there.
So that way nobody
Note number 1. I was looking
thinks
at
that map is
references.
spelled with an O, for example.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's,
Yeah, except-
remember that
except
about
I
you
should-
then.
Except I shouldn't have accepted it as complete without a stamp on it.
Mr. Chairman, if you're.
could I ask for,
Mr. Chairman, if your suggestions were intended to propose an amendment to the motion, I
Yes.
agree with them.
So
So
we're
the
gonna add-
motion is made to include your suggestions.
to be official, could I ask for a waiver on the preliminary, a stamp on the preliminary
Yes.
plan?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yes.
That was-
Okay.
We didn't catch it anyway, so. I had my arm over top of it.
It's on your summary.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Congratulations.
Bruce?
Thank you.
I didn't
Bruce,
hear
did you vote?
Yes, don't you,
FYI, might want to make sure your clients, when buying, is aware that that little sliver has to be released from the building to New Orleans.
Okay.
That does get real.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure that we talked about that, but yeah.
I've had several clients and people here get messed up big time because of that.
Take care of all that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
bye, Dan.
Stay healthy. Ron? Next item on the agenda is, what, I think it's Devon there to speak to the board regarding building on a private road, a new private road called Looking Glass Lane.
Wait, it says father, Ron.
Yes, yeah.
That's the one up off of Hoyt Mill, right? Yeah,
I,
okay.
I sent a summary at the last minute
Yep.
today. Did everybody get that? Because
Yeah, I
I
got
have
it.
an extra hard copy.
Yeah, but it didn't say, it said about it, but I'm saying, that's the one off,
Oh,
yeah, we
yes,
just
I'm
discussed
sorry,
that
you're
off
right. I
of
didn't say it was off Hoyt.
Hoyt Mill, right.
Did
I was
everybody
trying to
get
think of which one it
Yes,
was.
I'll take one, please. I never read my stuff.
I know that was discussed at one of the selectmen's meetings
Did you get the summary?
because of the road agent, so.
Oh, you did, okay.
Thank you.
It was kind of last minute.
So in this instance, we make a recommendation to the selectmen, I understand.
Right. We've already looked at, I know there's,
I just
the
wanna-
highway superintendent came in and discussed part of it,
The fire departments looked at it.
and the fire department
Yeah.
over that, so, and I know that
The
they,
zoning boards approved it.
I know that those two, which
Yeah.
are the ones that we,
The
Go
road
by-
Get renamed and everything on it,
I know the
so-
two that we go
yeah.
by, the fire chief
I
and
looked at it
the
with the zoning board chairman.
building, and the, highway superintendent and the fire chief, so, and they had no issue with it, and
Yeah,
so
we actually made the roads 20 feet wide,
Yep.
talking with the chief and stuff, and we put it so that there's a turnaround, because you couldn't, there was no place to back up before for the house up top.
Yep,
Now they have a place where you can come up,
Turn
set
around.
up, whatever, turn around, access, it's just so much, it's so
I know
much
that's one of
better.
the requirements now for that, so they
Yeah.
can get a truck in and out of there.
I believe we even had it's already registered for the waiver for the town.
Yep.
I think it's already gone to your lawyers too. and-
Yes, but I did have a question on that. You know the paperwork that Naomi sent us about Sparrow Lane? It was the same scenario in Sparrow Lane.
I remember that email, that's all she said, though.
Well, there was a waiver, maybe Bruce knows too, there was a waiver of liability, but it mentioned all three names because all three were using
over-
that
right.
driveway.
Right, Sparrow Lane's, that's the one up off of
Right.
Maplewold.
Where your current liability only addressed the two of you, so I don't know if,
I think this
I
should
think
be,
it had all three.
did I?
that's something to
Not
probably,
100%. What's that?
something to probably check would be to make sure
Yeah.
all three,
This way here,
everybody's
it's
on the same
registered
page.
and-
Yep,
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong, let me,
I'm hearing 3 different locations for this. Could somebody establish where this place is? Is this off Jewett?
no, Hoyt Road,
Wait, Ray.
Hoyt Mill Road,
Hoyt Mill Road.
south end of town.
Where,
Where the big place is up on the hill, years ago was gonna be a dance club or whatever, they were putting it up,
oh,
Down
Beauvair's?
From Twin Bridge.
Yes.
down by Twin,
Yes,
across from
exactly.
Twin Bridge Road,
Okay, and it's up that hill?
way the top of the hill, yeah.
Got it, thank you.
He's building on the same lot that we just approved the lot line adjustment. Remember that little triangle?
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
so it does have the three names, but now that it's a new private road and not a shared driveway, do I need to have that
I would just,
reviewed again or changed?
I don't think you need to
again?
review it, but I'd send them a copy to each one of the people living there to sign, that's the name change.
Oh,
so they realize it, and there's a record of it, have them sign it off, and
did they sign it, Craig, on the back page? Or just,
I think Devon's the only one that signed it because I
There's a whole
think
bunch of
each, I think
signatures.
each individual person on that lot would have to sign their own and
Well,
get it.
Yeah.
We got two Ouellette and Benakis.
Okay, then they did sign it.
yeah, and I think they'd have to get it to be, notify them that,
Two Benakises.
It was sent to be notified and it's registered with the,
Right.
with Hillsborough County.
well, yeah,
it was recorded,
was it before the name change, or is it,
yeah.
Yes.
so
before.
now you've got a new name?
Well, I'm asking, do we, or?
Do it again.
I don't.
Well, I mean, you gotta keep up with the
It says,
names.
No, this-
it says shared
This
driveway.
agreement's in effect on a shared driveway, and now the shared driveway is.
It's gonna be a private road, so, I
Agreement's
mean,
on effect.
and it may be, I don't know what, I mean, the thing to do is maybe talk to Wendy, because there's also numbering for that private road for
Let me see what the other ones,
911. There's gotta be some type of record of it.
That's true, because nobody lives at 60, these people don't live at 68 and 60B Point Mill Road anymore.
No,
That's right,
it's
so,
Something, I forget what, Looking Glass Lane. or
yeah,
something.
so it would be whatever the numbers are, so you'd
now,
have,
see, this one refers to the private road, not a shared driveway. It's
Yeah.
Maplewald Road?
no, that's Maplewell, that was where Sparrow, the,
Yeah, Sparrow.
Sparrow Lane.
Right,
We
that was the
changed
whole-
that one, we
right.
had to go,
Right,
that one got changed, what, a couple
but that
years
was
ago.
the one that Naomi said to research about, this one was Sparrow Lane.
But that one now, we've changed, and it's a new residence, they'd have to
I-
get numbered differently,
I
so.
would feel comfortable if it, all three were actually updated to the new road, all
Right.
three
And then-
residents, not just
Yeah, that's
yours.
fine.
And also, you'll have to give that to Wendy to make sure that
Yeah.
she gets the numbering.
And I, can I
What's
do
the
that?
cross-section of the private road gonna be? For the fire department? Gravels, et cetera.
That, I'm not sure what the spec was, but I know the road agent or the highway superintendent went up there and went over the whole thing, so, and it met his approval.
If Benji's okay, I'm okay.
Benji came in and told us that he was okay with it, so. That's what I
And-
said, if he's okay with it, it's,
And they did put the sign up the other day, and
Yep.
it's already been renumbered for the two houses that are existing up there. They got the numbers, so it
that's,
shows
like I
where
said, to
it's-
make sure that Wendy's
Yeah.
got, who does the assessing, she does the 911.
Yeah.
That's what most of the numbering's for. is-
Yeah, for
I'm
emergency
sure they're
vehicles.
looking for a building permit as soon as the approval from the selectmen comes. So we
Yep.
can issue the building permit while
I
they're
don't
working
know
on
if it's on the
this.
agenda for this week, this coming Monday, so you'd have to call tomorrow, call Naomi and see if it's on
See if we
the,
can get on, okay.
But I can still issue the building permit pending.
Pending
all-
approval on
All
that,
three are
yeah.
working on this.
yeah.
Yeah, hello?
Yep,
This, I don't know how many of you have been out to take a look at this.
Yep, I was.
There's, it seems that initially that driveway was put in the wrong place. So it,
We're all
then
taking our head.
Yep.
it was relocated where it hits White Mill.
Yep,
And the old section is used by another house, and the two driveways still connect. So effectively, right now, there's three houses using the driveway because it's not disconnected anywhere. You've got what looks like a triangle, and this driveway, two of the houses use the part that go off the point of the triangle, and the other one kind of goes off on the left side of it. And then you're going to be adding this other house on. So I think part of our recommendation should be that the part of the driveway that's not supposed to be there be obliterated and removed and grassed over.
Okay, that's easy.
We've got four houses from using the same driveway.
He's got a sign on there right now anyway that says only for this driveway, no one else to use,
Yep.
so.
Well, if
We can close it off, it's not a big deal, it's,
well, technically, if you close it off, then the private driveway is servicing, or private road is servicing four houses, not three, which is the very.
well, this would be 3 now, and then he'd be the 4th, right?
Right, he'd be the fourth. I assume the ZBA was conditioned for three.
yeah, but it's because they're actually two,
I
what it
know,
is
I've
where
seen
the, yeah,
I'm
okay,
there.
you know
I
what
was
I'm
there- I was
talking,
there
yeah,
with the ZBA
yeah.
chairman. I'm
We
just
can
saying-
disconnect it.
I'm just saying
yeah.
technically, if you disconnect it, there's three now.
No, there'll
you'd be
be,
the fourth.
there's two now. If we disconnected, there's two, and we're the third. Because that other, there's two driveways that come off, and one swings around and goes to the house up here. And what it was back in the day, they used to continue straight, and then they built a new road that comes in, which is now, has that new name on it.
So the other one's just a driveway, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Well, this says, yeah, the driveway application showed 3 lots to share. This is from the ZBA, so there's only three on that, gonna be on that road.
Devon is the third.
Yep. Reading the,
And I think technically we were gonna shut that driveway off anyway, so nobody would use it, just to keep everybody
all three,
happy.
all three
Yeah.
lot owners agreed to the new name. There's only 3 to share one driveway, a private road. So
Yeah,
there's only gonna be 3 on it.
Like, that section of pavement should be removed and grassed over and completely obliterated.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yes, he's in agreement, Bruce.
Okay.
Hang on, I'm looking.
You looking for the ZBA, no?
No, I'm looking at Google Earth, trying to find him. I'm getting there, I'm at Cold Spring now.
I think I may even have a picture of that.
There we are.
I have it, and I have pictures of it. Okay.
Yeah, when you first come off Hoyt Mill, you go back a couple hundred feet and the driveway goes off to the left.
Right.
Yeah, so when on,
If you keep on going up the hill, the driveway makes a curve and there's two houses back there.
so there's two,
3 houses, if you eliminate one of them, if you eliminate, there's gonna be 3 houses on the existing road.
no, two.
1, 2, 3.
You see it?
Come here. There's the one that sits back by the
Okay.
well.
Yeah, it's well, that,
There's 3 houses there.
Yeah,
So here's Hoyt Mill comes up.
here's the picture, yeah. So,
Yeah, Hoyt Mill, so,
But there's a house back here that's using it too.
no. There's Devon's.
See if I have a picture of that.
1, 2, 3.
okay, which is
Right,
which?
so
Here's an
this
aerial
is
photo.
us. So
Oh,
there's
this is
one-
you.
All right, so 1, 2,
3, 4.
no, this one here comes in off of this road right here. He's got a second road that comes off of
That's
Hoyt Mill.
what Bruce is talking about eliminating.
No, he's talking about eliminating, but the two come like this, here's Hoyt Mill, one comes like this and the other one
Bruce
comes
is
like
talking about
this.
this piece of.
Yeah,
top.
there's just
And they
this,
join, but this turns like this.
he's got a better picture. He's talking about eliminating this one.
I got the same picture.
That's
Yeah.
it.
The bigger
But
phone.
where's,
He's talking
you're,
about separating.
but you're
it right
talking
here.
about this house here, Bruce, right? I mean,
Yeah,
Greg.
that's the house I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Bruce,
So
they're on
where's the
Google
second
Map
driveway
looking
for
at it.
them?
I am too.
it's a
Okay.
separate driveway.
Where?
But I'm
It's coming
we have
off
a big
like
screen to
here.
look at.
See, this is like a
So
little-
there's
Oh.
3 houses there.
Yeah.
Has he built
This
the
is what
house
he's
yet
talking
up here?
about eliminating right here. So the road still goes like this to this house, but you could go past this driveway and that connects to this road too. And this road here is the one we use right here. So what we'll do is we'll cut it right here and put some, a banking. He comes in off of this road,
Guess I didn't know that.
off of Hoyt, and we're coming in off of this road, which is Ladies, whatever they call the new name of it.
Looking glass.
Looking glass, yeah. So you
So,
come, you're
right.
still coming in off of Hoyt, but you're turning on the looking glass where he's coming in
Correct,
off
and
of.
he's coming off the next turn off right here,
Which
but
is-
originally this.
It's all
is-
gonna be his driveway is what
That'll
you're
be
saying.
his driveway, and we'll
Okay.
cut it off right here. I'll put it.
Right at the
we'll cut-
fork.
Right.
I think I understand. It's been a
So
while
they're
since I was
gonna
out
cut it
there.
Yeah.
off.
Yeah, they only got to remove probably a 20-foot section or something.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they're gonna put a bank in right here, so.
Okay.
Yeah,
just
I
go
think
straight
it's-
this
through.
will
yeah,
be
it's like
his driveway
10 feet
then?
That's for that
or
guy,
whatever.
and then
Cut
here,
that
they're
off,
gonna
put
put
up
a
little
banking,
bank
like
with
to
grass
cut that
over it.
off, so,
So this
Yep.
is the new
yeah,
road.
yep.
Got it.
Hey, you could take some pictures and show us. too.
Yes, I could,
Okay.
yeah. So there'll only be 3 on that, using that driveway.
Okay.
The new road.
On Looking Glass Lane.
It's Kelly's.
That's Kelly's.
Thank you,
This is Kelly's too, right?
thank you, yes. You still all set?
I'm just gonna say, personally, we have a zoning ordinance saying you can't have more than 2 houses in a shared driveway. I personally don't feel like going to the ZBA and making a private road is a good reason to make a third driveway. I think it's a bad practice. I think we're gonna get in all kinds of trouble in a lot of other places that we've been talking about for years.
We wouldn't have a problem, but the only thing is, there's no access from the other side.
Yes, there is. You just don't have to go up there. You can build right beside the trailer court. You can build there without a variance. I've been there, I walked it.
Yeah, yeah.
So your hardship is you can't build where you wanna build. No, they can't build where you can't build. I think it's a bad policy for the town to be making private roads, is my point. Just don't think it's a good idea. But it's already made, so it's not a planning board decision. I just wanted to voice my concern. But if the cross-section is up to Benji's
Yep.
standards, and the police chief and the fire chief is happy with it being 20 feet wide, as far as I'm concerned, there's not much we can do about it. It looks good.
Mr. Chairman, is this simply a recommendation to the board?
The select board, yes.
So the recommendation could be negative, the board could override that if they wish, but you would be sending a stronger message for your position if we recommended against this. Word would get back to the ZBA too.
The problem with that is that recommendation, I think we need to make that opinion other than a recommendation like this. I think in this case, we need to make a recommendation that section of the driveway be obliterated and revegetated and any other points that we want to make. We don't want to miss that opportunity to waste it on recommending that the thing just not be allowed at all. When it's going to be allowed, we may as well make the best of it.
I don't think we can stop it now if we wanted to. If we recommended the select board it doesn't pass, it's not gonna matter. It's already got the variance, it's well on its way. I just think it's a bad practice to get into. We've been to court, the town has been to court several times on the shared driveway and tried to get a third house on a driveway,
Yep.
and we won. And now we're making it a private road, and
I don't totally disagree with you. We've had this discussion about, trying to use it's like the same thing, using class 6 roads as private driveways,
Right.
where it's a town road and you can't use it as a private driveway, but you get overruled on it. And I don't agree the fact with private roads either, but, because I'm also of the point where at some point that, I'm always skeptical that somebody's gonna drop an egg in the basket, that it's gonna now fall to the town all of a sudden to maintain, and I don't want that to happen.
I think-
I don't think that's fair to the other taxpayers, but I don't wanna penalize Mr. Therian or anybody else in this instance, in this particular instance of, there's already 2 other houses sitting up there, so, I mean,
yeah, but you can have his driveway off 114. That was my point, but the variance has been granted, so that doesn't
come
matter
up
anymore.
114, up over
Then let's go the whole way up.
where the trailer park?
Yeah.
Where?
The trailer park. Between the trailer park and what's his name's house.
He has frontage on
Yeah,
140.
there's 50 feet of frontage.
Yeah, and part of that's wetland.
That it turns into,
Mr. Chairman?
That's not my fault. He can get a permit.
Oh, I know, but I mean,
For access, he can get a permit.
like I said, but the other thing is the ZBA's
I
already,
know, but he's already got a
so
variance.
I think it's a moot point. But
Well,
I
I-
agree
I-
with Bruce that we close off, that, part of the stipulation is that they
Oh,
have
yes,
to
yes,
close
I
off
definitely,
that.
we need to close it. I want to make, you mentioned private roads and not liking them in general. I agree, but I think in a cluster subdivision where you have, I don't know the number, say X number of lots, a private road would be, to me, acceptable, because then you could do Neil's gravel road, et cetera, narrower, whatever. But
Right.
you force the homeowner association of the cluster to maintain it, and the developer kicks
Oh, yeah.
in some money to start out with to maintain it.
Yeah, I mean, that's at the get-go.
Right,
This
that's
here
at the very
is
beginning.
At the very
There's a
beginning,
big
and I
agreement
agree with
saying-
that, and
In that case, I think it's a decent idea, but this is certainly something different. I just didn't want to say no to all private
it's already,
roads.
yeah, now, but it's like, the horse is already out of the barn in this.
Yes,
and
it
we're-
is.
And we're,
Unfortunately.
So-
They took the cart with them.
yep.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
is it possible to amend at next year's town meeting the zoning ordinance to preclude or to strictly limit the creation of these new private roads.
You need a variance to get by that then.
Sorry?
Then you get a variance to get around that. Same thing.
Can't you set things up so that granting of a variance to create a private road would be nigh unto impossible?
I think you'd have to look at the statute for that.
Making the exception that you were talking about for private roads that are going to be maintained as part of as part of a cluster zoning
I
ordinance.
mean, don't we have that now? We have that now with Collins Landing. I mean,
Right.
that's all private road. That's, I mean, something like that, yes, but I mean, you'd have to do it to pass that, and I agree, from the get-go on a new one. This has already been existing, and they're changing a driveway to a private road. It's kinda, I think, that if they still went to the ZBA and got a waiver for it, then I think we're stuck. The way I look at it statutorily, because it's already, the horse is already out of the barn. I mean, there's certain restrictions you can put on it, but the ZBA can waive those, and they get the final
My
say on a
thought
lot
was
of it.
that we set things up so that this horse may be out of this barn,
Don't
but
anymore.
no more horses.
No,
going
but
out. Barns.
new divisions or new areas, yes, and that,
Can you put that on your list for this fall?
Sure, but what if the procedure was the other way around? Planning board, selectmen, then variance.
selectmen have the last.
Oh, planning board variance.
Gotta go to ZBA first.
ZBA first, planning
Must be
board, then
ZBA
the
first.
selectmen have the last.
That's guided by state
Yeah.
RSA.
It's done by statute, so that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the hard road to travel kind of
Right.
explains private roads too.
Yeah, and if you look in the state ZBA regs,
Let's have the discussion this fall.
Okay, to do.
so I think by putting the part that as you said, you're gonna separate that, block it off.
Yeah.
So there's just one straight shot, there's no other way to turn to go up.
Loam it, seed it, grass it.
Yep,
Let me see it.
loam it, seed it, and grass it, and yeah.
Is that a motion, or aren't you gonna make?
I'll make I'll make a motion, make that in a motion,
I'll second that.
okay?
You're quicker, you're getting quicker, Bruce. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
Can I put a caveat in the minutes that I am against new private roads in general, please? Thank you.
And add my name to that.
Congratulations. We
Thank
made-
you, I
we made a
appreciate your
recommendation.
help. Sorry for all this confusion.
No,
So,
no, it's not,
It's
I,
it's one of those.
I think this is your plan, actually.
Oh, yeah, I probably.
You drew on that, so.
Thank you.
Yep.
You wanna sit up here? I gotta step down.
I take it, Jack is going to chair.
Who's the vice chair?
Bruce.
Bruce is, he can, vice
Right
chair.
here. He just can't see his brand-new name tag.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can you see the map I'm holding,
I'll,
Bruce?
I'll
Can-
send you
can
a
we
picture
hear?
of it.
Will we be able to hear him? It's very faint.
Yours was fainter than he was last time we did.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
That's why I'm here. I could hardly hear at home. I could hardly hear anything that was happening.
I'm gonna stay here so I can socially distance, but I am stepping down for the board. How's that? Is that
Okay.
legal?
Yeah.
Legal enough? Oh, the next item on the agenda is lot line adjustment for Jack Dearborn at 148 Gould Road. And I'm stepping down, so Bruce is the chair.
Bruce,
okay,
you're
here we
chairing.
go. This will be interesting.
Can you talk a little louder?
Yeah, I'll give it a whirl. How's that?
Thank you.
Okay, it's for 148 Gould Road, map 411, lot 99 and 97.
Yes.
Lot line adjustment. Explain why we need the lot line adjustment here?
I was gonna wait for the application to be accepted as complete before I gave that. Before I stuck my foot in my mouth.
Kelly, were there any problems with this? Is why it should not be accepted as complete?
Somebody had my other mocked up copy.
You want it back?
No, everything was no, I got the checklist, the deeds, the abutters.
No waiver requests or anything like that?
Yeah, there's a
There's
waiver
a waiver
for
for topo
In wetlands, I'm sure.
in wetlands.
I hope so.
Yeah.
And soils, I hope. I thought today was Friday, I thought today was Friday, so I left.
Don't tell me about
I
it,
thought
so
today was
do I.
Wednesday, so my whole file's doing this, I apologize.
So,
Anybody want to make a motion on the waivers?
yeah,
I'll
I
make-
move that we grant the waivers for for the topo and for,
I thought this was soils and,
what was the other one?
soils and wetland?
Wetlands.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. How about the application?
Make a motion that the application is complete,
Be accepted as complete.
accepted as complete.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Application's accepted as complete. Now you can explain the purpose.
Okay. Can I use yellow highlighter, please, ma'am?
Sure,
Now he's gonna mark your map up even more.
I have red too.
In, reading upside down, 2016, I did a lot line adjustment, putting this part of the lot 99 with Jack's house and creating the lot line along the brook. Jack hired us last fall to survey this lot and to record a plan. In doing so, well, I should say, this brook, when I did the plan in 2016, I got the location from satellites and mostly satellite imagery. In doing the survey here, I located the brook, and it actually crosses onto lot 96, and then back into lot 98. Therefore, if the brook was the property line, I created a small triangular piece here. It would have been a separate lot,
Which was not intended to begin with.
or legal.
Illegal, right? Well, I said not
Certainly not,
intended.
certainly not intended. So the purpose of this plan is to show the relocated brook and that little triangle that would have been part of lot 97 is actually gonna be part of lot 99. That's why I'm here. I messed up. How's that?
Move
Okay.
we accept the, move we approve the application?
Second.
Any discussion? We gotta let the abutters talk about it. Any abutters present want to talk about it?
No.
Well, we took the application
No?
as being complete.
Okay.
Oh,
We'll close the public hearing then. Now, anybody want to make a motion on the application?
He just did.
Okay.
I have a question.
We have a question, though.
Well,
So,
who's got a question?
so this
the
line
bill.
here is the present property line?
No, it's along the brook.
It's presently on the brook.
It's following the, except
It presently follows a brook, except I showed the brook here.
when it got to
But in
that end.
actuality, the brook is over here.
So what's this line here then?
That's a mathematical tie line, so that a surveyor can come along and close this figure mathematically to
Okay.
get from here to there.
Okay.
That's all, instead of saying
So,
it's,
explain to me then where the wetlands are that, I mean, the 100-year floodplain proper part. Is that this whole thing because of the swamp that's up here?
it's
Or just here?
just here.
Just here.
Yeah.
So there's no possibility that this is gonna move?
Yeah, it's brook's moving, sure.
So,
Brook's moving.
so you have a.
Probably moved inconsistently
you
since
have-
I did the survey.
Okay, but you have a point of reference here at the beginning and at the end. Should there be one here and here, so that you
The point is,
continue?
if the brook moves slowly over time, the property line moves with it.
Okay, well, what
If we
about
have-
in a 100-year flood
If we have a flood and the
situation?
brook moves, the property line stays at the old brook, which there's, well, you can digitize that and put it in the
Okay,
computer and recreate it when we get satellite.
well, I was just
imagery.
thinking in this response to what happened in Epsom
Oh, yeah.
when the Suncook River went berserk.
Yeah, that was a mess. Still is a mess, actually.
Yep. Some people.
I did set all the monuments, by the way, Mr. Fillmore.
Okay, thank you.
Some places got.
Bruce, I
some
have
places
one
lost land
administrative
over there.
item.
Some of it's a
We
no
need to
man's
vote.
land.
I know, but before you vote, can I make an administrative item?
A couple. You want your plan back?
Yes, because I only show one written waiver, so I don't know if you want to ask verbally for the other two waivers. I'm sorry, I only have one, I only have the topo waiver.
Yeah. no other waiver.
The motion
written.
was to grant a topo and a wetlands waiver.
And soils.
Wetlands and soils.
I only have topo. So it's just for clarity, if you wanted to
Well, we
add it
can make
to
a-
this and have them,
Good idea.
I'll get you a written waiver. on
thank
that
you,
With the Mylar.
Okay,
thank
we're
you.
back to the motion, right?
Yep,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Okay.
I always say congratulations after something like that.
Gosh,
congratulations.
Congratulations on asking others to rectify your errors.
Great, great. Congratulations, fixing.
Or
the mistake.
condolences, whichever would fit.
Yeah.
Hey, you know I'm honest, at least. If I did my
Yeah.
mistake, I could have been quiet. Do we have anything else?
I do.
When did
I got,
that-
I
Oh,
got,
yeah, we have a
got
building
a-
permit to talk
a
about.
few things, yes, so I've been challenged,
Mentally?
yeah. Put that on you.
Kelly is mentally challenged, okay.
No, I've been challenged with the building permit fees from the way that we wrote it when we changed the fee schedule. Because it says finished area, and now people are saying, why am I being charged 50 cents a square foot for my basement or my deck or my attic space or
Closet,
so-
whatever. Yes.
Whatever, yeah. One applicant was pretty adamant that I calculated it the way that I thought it was, and looking for a refund. It comes out to about $300 refund. So, just moving forward, I want to correct it. I would like to draft up a detailed explanation on how we do calculate that
Why don't
finished.
you say gross area rather than living area,
I
or
think-
finished area?
Well, I did research other towns, and what everybody else is doing is if you're doing 50 cents a square foot for your finished area, which everybody assumes is a usable, livable, it's not how we worded it, though. They're doing 25 cents for basement, deck, shed, everything else, so it's like half the price, so that you're not paying the full price, which in reality, you're not even doing that many inspections on the other ones, so it makes sense. But to do that kind of a change, we would have to have a public hearing, which the planning board can, and anytime can have a public hearing to change the fee schedule, but it's happened on 3 so far, and I don't want to be any more inconsistent or any more challenges for any more refunds, because I can't issue a permit if they don't pay me, so the payment's already come and gone by the time he says, hey, so-and-so got this fee, why am I getting my fee?
So what's your suggestion?
So I wrote up a draft with an explanation of what's been going on, and I thought if we wanted to change it, we could suggest going that 50 cents and 25 cents. But
Without a
then-
hearing?
No, you have to have a public hearing.
Yeah, and
You have to have a public hearing to
it
change
has
it
to
that
come-
way.
it has to go to the board.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
it has to go to the Board of Selectmen, have another hearing.
Yeah, yep. So
We have
if
to
you
have a hearing.
wanted to do it that way, unless
We
you
have to have a hearing.
wanted just,
Yeah, no
Any-
matter
any
what you
change,
do,
you have to have a public hearing.
any changes
Well,
like
is
that.
it possible to simply have a clarification by the board of what that means?
that was my
As-
next, yeah, that
As
was,
opposed to changing the fee?
Well, if you're gonna change the wording in what there too, is,
No, not changing the wording.
well,
just
she's
saying-
proposing to change the wording on some of it. is-
my first option was to propose the meaning and a explanation of what we want to calculate as finished, so that there's no challenges, there's no discussion.
I think we have to have a public hearing though, because if you don't,
Yeah,
I mean, you could say, okay, 50 cents was for finished living area, but then all of a sudden now you haven't got a way to collect the 25 cents for the basement and the decks.
Or we should have a public hearing, even if we want to develop an explanation, a
and
detailed
make sure that you
explanation
run
to
it by,
attach.
yeah, run it
to
by
attach
council
to
to
the
make sure
order.
that you're doing it, that it's
Right.
legal and.
So this is just the first discussion to let you know what's been going on, so I could email what I've drafted up already, give some time to look at it, and we're gonna have to meet June 11th anyways, so we can
you
bring it
gonna-
up
Is that gonna
again.
give you time to run it by council, just to make sure that the wording is?
I can if you want me to do that before it comes to you?
I think
Okay.
at that point, that'd be the
Sure.
smart.
Should you have a public hearing on the 11th? Schedule it?
Sure, we can have a public hearing.
I got, right now, we thought we were charging 50 cents a foot,
For-
square foot, period.
Mm-hmm.
Gross.
Basement, deck, yeah.
Yes.
Why don't we just change the word finished to gross? That's what we thought we were doing.
Finished area.
Okay, just make it gross area.
Gross-
Then you're starting to change,
Gross area is still gonna be,
but you're charging 25 cents for
Oh.
sellers and,
No, right now, we thought we were charging 50 cents a square
Total.
foot, period.
yeah,
total
she-
gross
Right.
floor area,
okay, you
That
said something
included
about
deck.
finished.
but it just says
Yes,
finished
but we
area.
thought-
Yeah,
but
so
we-
if you're saying finished, you're still gonna have to have a hearing, because you're gonna have to change the
I
wording.
think we
of it.
should have a hearing even if we're
Yeah, I'm
discussing
just, I'm
it.
just saying, instead of going through this 50 cents, 25
Oh,
cents.
yeah, I
thing,
mean,
we
And
thought-
it's,
we
it's
thought-
nothing to advertise the June 11th meeting as a public hearing. I can advertise that as a public hearing, and you post it in the 3 places
but
that we're
make sure
supposed
that,
to.
yeah, just make sure that whatever
But
you,
if you want me to send a draft to Laura,
make sure that whatever you put in there is the wording is gonna be legal and binding, and then.
yeah.
Now,
I
is
just,
it-
I just think. I don't-
Several
I don't-
towns have had several ways of doing
Why,
it.
why would we reduce our fees?
Finished.
It's just
Which is
a
the same
cement
thing.
wall.
Well,
It's not
because
finished. There's no-
if
it's
you
not
do
really
it, the whole
livable
gross
space.
floor
Yeah, but
area
they're-
for
they're
everything,
wanting to
including
remodel
deck
it,
sheds
so
and
it's
all
gonna be
that,
If they remodel it,
finished
yeah.
space.
you're,
So you
you're
should be
paying
charged
more than
that
what you
as
were on
finished space,
$6 per
if they
thousand.
just frame it and.
What we're trying to do with
Where'd the $6 a thousand
You know,
come
like some have
what you had before.
petitions just.
That's what you
like
had
a-
before.
Okay.
Not really finished.
So I'm trying to make it
separate.
even, but easier
But we
as,
thought we had 50 cents a foot, period. Basement,
Yeah.
shed, deck, everything. Why don't we just make it that's what it is?
Yeah.
we'd have to word it that way.
You'll have to
because
word
it's
it
not-
that way.
right.
But like I said, you know,
And that in my explanation is an option.
when
But I need something in writing that says, this is what we're doing. This
So-
is exactly
So
how
you're
we're
gonna
charging
Take the
this.
word finished out and you're gonna put gross floor.
Goes for area of
So-
all construction. I mean, you gotta spell it right out, because it's,
So if somebody comes in and wants to put up an 8x10 shed,
But you had to make it 8 by 10. didn't you?
8 by 10 is 80, it's 200 square feet or less, you don't need a permit.
Yep.
So just go 200 square feet,
12
24 by 24.
24 by, no, well,
That's a big
That's a
shed.
garage, a
200
500,
square feet is minimum?
24 by
Yes.
24, it's a big
How
shed.
much? 200 square feet?
So
So
12 by 20, a 12 by 20 shed.
you need a zoning permit, you don't need to build it.
12 by 20 shed.
you go
that
10
would
by
cost me
10,
50
you know.
cents times 240.
Yeah,
And if I have a house and there's a garage, detached garage, with 2 floors, 1 floor for the cars and, you know, storage or whatever up, it's 24 by 24 on the bottom, plus 24 by 24 on the second floor, and times 50 cents. Is that correct? Thank you.
Personally, I think 50 cents is a little steep for unfinished areas.
it is. That's what everybody's complaining about.
But that's what we thought we had now, is my
And
point.
it, so if I calculate it with the previous fee, it was $6 per thousand of the value, but you never knew what your value was, because they could tell you anything. But I took some like 30 by 40 house, and it's almost $2,000 more if I calculate the gross floor area.
2,000 square foot house would be $1,000 for a fee?
No, remember you had,
When you add the basement, which really isn't added in the 2,000 square foot house dimension,
right, well, then people were deducting knee walls and attic space, and they were getting into usable, livable space, and that's not what was written. What was written as finished
well,
area.
you have to make sure that that's clarified, so there's no confusion.
All I need
This
is-
is for all
I
space,
just
not,
need it to be black and white, like straight across the board for everybody. So if that's what the town wants, 50 cents gross floor, that's fine. If you want 50 cents and 25 cents to split it up, I just need that
Right.
explanation detailed.
I think the biggest thing, you know, it isn't so much what the town wants. I think what the biggest thing is that, you know, to get the fee out of it, is to make it that it's something that's not gonna be challenged somewhere down the road.
Right, that's
And,
what I
and
mean.
like Bruce says, you know, what, you're gonna hit them then for a basement, or you're gonna hit them for an attic
Right.
that's not finished.
Is there,
I think that's where somebody's gonna look at it and say, this is unfair, and we're gonna end up in court.
So-
is
so,
there any,
let's go 30 cents a square foot.
Well, let me
Split the
let me
difference.
give you what I wrote, because I gave you the previous, I gave you a previous explanation.
Construction only, or?
Yeah, or if additions or
I
whatever.
gave you the revised, I gave you an explanation, I gave you a couple of samples on the bottom.
is there, Jack, is there any sense that this fee, whatever the fee is, however it's calculated, is supposed to cover the cost of certain services?
Not really. You know, I don't know how they do the fee. Every place does them differently. Some places, I remember you're going to get a building permit. I don't care if you're building a 5,000 square foot home or a 500 square foot shed. or a garage. You know, you go in and pay $250 as your building permit fee,
Right.
period, done.
Right.
But you have to go get your permits, you gotta make sure you get a permit and pay a fee for electrical, plumbing, heating, whatever else you're gonna
Does
add.
this include those?
We increased our base rate for any of the other applications to $50, but when you have your house permit, your plumbing and electrical is included.
Yeah.
But not your mechanical, because mechanical is from the fire
But they,
department.
they do it separate, so they know, I mean, like, I know I've been involved in doing houses, Bruce does it more, so I mean, he'd know, but some places, you know, okay, you pull a permit for the building, okay, I'm putting in this size house, okay, I'm gonna build this type of house, okay, you're gonna get an electrical permit, and that's an additional fee. And they wanna see who the electrician is, they wanna have all the information, and it doesn't include in the initial building permit.
But Kelly is saying that that's
I don't
not the
know
case
what they,
for-
I don't know what they, I haven't seen the ones here, so I don't know.
Plumbing and
but-
electrical is included in the house permit.
But do they have the usually when they do the plumbing and heating part of the house, a lot of places, they have the plumber
Yes.
come and pull the permit with his
Yep.
license number, and it's a separate one, and then they have the electrician come, they don't include it in the building permit.
We have them pull those permits separately. We have separate
And they-
numbers
and
of
they-
plumbing permit number
And
and
they charge a
electrical.
separate fee for each separate permit, you know,
But if somebody comes in and do a solar, it's a $50 base rate application for the solar.
Yep.
And then they're most likely gonna put it mechanical permit, so that's another $50, so it costs $100 to do a solar.
Solar house?
Solar permit,
permit for solar panel.
solar panels.
But you know, so I mean, they're doing it by the square footage.
And if somebody does come in with a 180 square foot shed, we're charging just a base rate application fee because it's a zoning permit. We still have to do our work, there's still an inspection process, so it's $50. Those I haven't had a problem with, it's
But
people
I think
calculate
if
it.
we're gonna do that, we have to make it very clear and
I
so
really,
which way we're
I
gonna do it.
really just want it
Two stages.
black and white straight
And like
across
I
the
said,
board.
You have a major typo in your thing here. You're saying 0.5 cents.
Oh,
Point,
That's a little bit less than 50 cents.
where are
but-
you?
25?
Yeah,
Where are you?
under revised. It
revised,
says
first page.
0.5 cents per square
0.50
foot.
cents,
0.5, okay, 0.50.
0.50.
That
Still
means-
half a cent
Oh,
per
it's
square
probably
foot.
because my
Well, I mean, if you
laptop
do,
doesn't.
no, that's right, 50 cents, you always put the
It doesn't say
period.
50, it says
You put
.50
$10,
cents.
$10.50, you put 10.50.
You put the dollar sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you should put the dollar sign, should
dollar
have been.
sign, not the cent.
Yeah, you gotta put the dollar sign plus the period and then 50 cents.
Yeah,
You're
put a
just
dollar
mad at
sign,
me for finding a
0.5.
mistake on your plan.
I'm finding, but yeah, we're getting
But-
even.
I don't know, you know, what do you think,
So,
Bruce?
yeah, I mean, I'm sorry we could have talked a little longer first time we had a hearing on making changes for the building permit ordinance, but didn't think I'd be challenged like this, and I just,
Bruce, what do you think of 30 cents for, 30 cents a square foot gross floor area?
Bruce?
Do you really
Yeah.
want to make a revenue change for the town of Ware for the year 2020?
Well, we already did make a revenue change by
Yeah,
changing.
No,
did
this
that
is, this
already.
will decrease the
Oh,
town's
decrease it,
revenue
Yeah,
in a year
I-
when our
Well,
other
wait,
revenues.
No, because now it's saying 50 cents per finished square foot, finished area. I'm saying 30 cents for gross area. Is that
Yeah.
it's finished?
Straight across the board.
Really?
Okay, 30,
4,000.
35 cents, we'll
Yeah, there's
negotiate.
samples on
We
the
need to have
back
two,
side of them.
one for finish and one for the, everything else.
Yeah, Goffstown, Bow, Henniker, well, no, Henniker doesn't do permits anymore. Hillsborough, they're gone.
no building permits?
Anyway, there were several towns around that I have copies they're all doing the less square footage for unfinished areas. So if they have 25 cents, they're doing 12 cents, or 30 cents, they're doing 15 cents. And to me, that makes sense, because if they're gonna challenge you, at least you're getting something and you're not charging or deducting it.
I
charging
find that hard
nothing.
to believe in this day and age. Hennecker has no building permit.
Just a couple of months ago, zoning permits only.
So if I wanna go put a house up in Hennecker, I could put a top paper shack up and
Good
there's not
luck
much
to
they can do about
They
it.
didn't hire another inspector, they did away with permits. The actual permit now says zoning permit on it, they crossed out building. permit.
What's a zoning permit?
It's like, okay, you know that 200 square
Setbacks.
foot, the ICC building code says, anything under 200 square feet is exempt from
Right.
code. So if somebody built a 10-by-10 shed, don't have to meet code, probably doesn't even need an inspection, but yet we have to make sure that it meets your zoning setbacks.
But if Henniker doesn't have a permit for a building and they have a zoning permit,
So let's look at setbacks and following the ICC
Setbacks and
code.
make sure it meets your residential, rural, and commercial permitted uses or anything like that. So it's strictly,
but it has nothing to do with how big the structure is.
No,
I don't know, I just know that it says zoning permits, not,
wanna go
And
Put a
who
top paper
determines that
shack
they've met
up?
the setback
Yes.
requirement? Is that?
I
Jesus,
don't
that's-
know, I don't even
Well,
know
that's,
who's
I guess
doing
that's
the
Henniker's
inspections.
problem.
Yeah, I don't even know, I don't know who's doing the inspections over there anymore.
Okay,
Anyway, so this is just a thought process. I thought
Okay.
I'd
Thank
send
you
out,
for-
put
thank
my
you.
thoughts in writing, and then we can start from there, I think.
Yep.
And I'll put it in the newspaper that we're discussing, possible revisions to the fee schedule.
I think that if you're going to have a public hearing, you need to have published the proposed
Yeah, we gotta,
whatever it is.
Yeah.
So we can modify it at the hearing
Yep.
if we wish, but you need to have a
a set,
public hearing on changing the definition of whatever from A to B.
as far as, yeah,
Oh, well, we won't know before June 11th.
Sure you will. You come up with whatever you want and run it by the attorney.
yep, if we get it back. by
we
June
change it,
11th.
we
Well,
change it.
next Monday's the first, so,
At the public
Okay.
hearing, we may decide your plan is perfect, or we may decide change this and change
But,
that.
yeah,
And that's
I'd run it-
legitimate. That's what
Okay.
a public hearing is for.
Okay, I see, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I like 35 cents a foot. myself.
35 cents now?
Yeah, well,
Well, you're from 30 to 35,
Well,
so,
well, the average is 37 and a half, and I don't like half cents.
no, I don't
Yeah,
either.
Well,
but that
then-
assumes,
Odd numbers.
that assumes there's an equal number of square feet of
I'm assuming you
finished
got an attic and 2 stories and a basement.
and unfinished.
But then play with the numbers. If the house were 6 months ago, $350,000 value times $6,
Or maybe it's
that's
Yeah,
the
but-
revenue that we were making before, so you don't wanna go too much lower, but you don't wanna go too much higher
But then
either.
again, but the other thing is now you're not having the fight over finished or unfinished and, you know, and fighting at 25 cents or 50 cents. Now it's a set no matter what.
Well, back when it was $6 per 1,000, people were telling me they're building a house for $60,000.
Yeah, that didn't work.
That did not
That
work
didn't
at all.
work. But I think that this is.
So this is why we went to the square
So-
footage, but now they're challenging that. And
Yeah, because of the, they're saying,
Trying to
well,
keep it
it says,
simple.
because it says finished,
I know,
because
but,
of that word,
It
finished.
takes the word finished out.
and I know,
put gross
keeping it
floor in,
simple, I
and
know
take
gray
35 cents.
area, but in a case like this, I really need
It's
to be
one of those,
consistent.
that,
I need to have it
that gray
explained.
area, the finished or unfinished is the one that, when you go to court, it's gonna say, somebody that sits on the bench is gonna
Right.
say, what does that say? Finished.
Right, but I
Okay.
want a definition of how
Because it's
we,
not finished.
Hey, because it's not finished, it's,
right, but then it better say that on the plan. You better stamp it on your plan that your basement is not finished, because the minute you put a sheetrock or put a room in there,
yeah, but I'm
So
saying,
what happens if I have my house, we have the new schedule, something for finished, something for unfinished, and the basement is 400 square feet, and I decide to finish it in the future? Do I need a permit?
yes.
yeah, but not at the point.
But if I only want
You'll
to
need
finish 199 square feet,
But the permit's already done for the house, so you come back and you wanna finish your basement. Your base rate application is 50. That's base rate application to say I'm gonna finish my basement. And then if you're gonna get electrical permit, you're gonna pay 50. You're gonna get a mechanical permit, you're gonna get 50, so.
so it doesn't matter whether I'm finishing 100 square feet or 500 square
Mhm.
feet or 1,000 square feet in the basement.
Right.
It's $50.
It's like a renovation permit.
Yeah,
Right.
it's a renovation
Yeah.
permit.
Okay.
So
Like a
you don't put it
renovation.
on the original one.
Those
until
I
you
can
it,
do,
yeah.
the sheds and decks that are detached,
Because you're-
the pools that are coming in like crazy right now.
Because under your scheme,
Rules
under
that
your
can't even-
interpretation, what Craig said, I can see people
And they can't
gaming the
get 'em in.
system.
Mhm. You're right,
Okay? I'm not, of
Companies.
course I'm finishing my basement, but not for you,
right.
Fence company's pool.
because it'll only cost me $50
They can't
later as
even
opposed to
get to do
500
it.
now.
The swamp.
Exactly.
We've got to be careful.
That's why, I mean, it needs to be stamped on the plans.
Okay,
So, the other thing is, there's a gentleman that, bought new house or home over in the commercial district, wants to do agricultural, but, it's a little bit of a mixed use, so I'd rather have the board hear him out and see if he needs a site plan or not, so he wants to come in on a conceptual.
Okay.
And you wanted to talk about, Southern New Hampshire Planning Commission? You said talk
I
about this?
didn't really want to talk about that on TV.
Okay,
How's that for being blunt?
that's fine. Public hearing,
I don't have any minutes. Sorry,
you don't have your minutes from April 23rd?
I don't
Does
have any
anybody
minutes.
have their minutes from April 23rd?
Don't have from May either.
Okay. Did you want to talk
I
about,
thought today was Wednesday.
you want to talk about Alpha Storage?
Thought that was
I think,
done.
Does anybody else have the minutes?
No?
No, I think you should send out a new
in
packet.
that case, we can, nobody
Okay.
has them. Alpha Storage cannot
We'll-
come to
we'll
an
wait
agreement
on it
for that.
Yeah, that's our
neighbor.
excuse.
I'm gonna put it on my
That was
to-do
gonna happen,
list.
right? Should've known it was gonna happen.
Well, I knew it was gonna happen, I knew the other one was the rocks for the gate, you know?
Right, well, they can't come to an agreement with the neighbor for the berm, so they can't put the berm there. So if they can't put the berm there, they can't meet the site plan. So I told Kelly, I think it's the same as Duck Pond, you gotta notify the abutters, come back for a change in the site plan.
Yep.
The change is gonna be eliminate the
What
berm.
do they,
Is
oh,
this Alpha?
yeah.
So what do they
Yeah.
want?
What do they want
Instead
for a
of a
berm now? What does the butters
They want it
want?
taller?
She's not talking to them.
The berm up
Well, I thought Alpha was,
I thought that was a done deal,
yeah, and they had done everything that the folks wanted.
but now they've changed their mind and don't want the berm.
Evidently.
So if they
They're
don't
not
want the
co-
berm, how does that doesn't matter, does it?
I don't
Yes,
think it,
because the berm's on the site plan.
but I think they just go with what they were given and,
So,
Well, it's just like Duck Pond though.
yeah.
We're gonna change, we're making a change to the approved plan.
so
For the Mylar, too.
if we approve that plan the way that she understood it that night,
Yes.
Yeah,
why
why?
does she have any authority to change that plan after
But
it's
she's
been
not
approved?
signing the
has-
maintenance agreement for the driveway.
Well, then I guess she's out of luck.
But it's part of a condition that he has that maintenance driveway.
Well, he'll maintain
Well, how
it,
does the maintenance agreement
Oh,
affect the
he'll have to
berm?
maintain it himself.
Yeah.
Which he does anyway.
which he does anyway. But just not to the point where it may be to her satisfaction, because she doesn't want to sign it, but
I don't think that driveway maintenance agreement has anything to do with that berm. Why
I
does that
think-
hold that
Why
up?
did we say berm? Why did he say
I
berm?
thought you said that,
Oh,
I
is
thought
that-
the email to me said that they couldn't get her to agree on the berm.
the berm is the one that's,
No, the
it
driveway.
was that one or this one, up by the office?
That's his planting on their
Yeah.
property.
Yeah, I thought there was a little berm
This
in
is on
there
her
too,
property.
on her property.
That's his
Okay,
Maybe I
the other
misunderstood the whole damn thing.
That was the email I sent to you.
Yeah. You start out saying, I am revisiting the email I sent you on April 10th regarding a berm agreement and driveway maintenance agreement between Alpha Storage and our neighbor Debbie and Claude Raymond that was required by the town as part of the permitting process for Alpha self-storage expansion. Debbie Raymond originally refused to sign the documents back in early April. Then she reconsidered, and now she's refusing again. Communication with her has broken down, and I've been forced to cut off all communication because she has been threatening me, my business, and my family. I was hoping you might be able to advise me on how best to proceed with the required documentation and to remain compliant with the town, given the fact that the Raymonds refused to sign the documentation. I think he has to come in for a minute site plan. It's stupid.
I think we gotta look at it again, huh?
Do you want me to have him come in on June 11th? Well, we already have a hearing for
notify the
June
abutters.
25th or whatever.
You gotta
A
notify
hearing.
others.
Oh, you want a hearing, or you just want to discuss it with Kevin? You want a hearing?
I don't think we need a hearing. We've already had a hearing and accepted it. I think we ought to hear what his concerns are, what his, I mean, I don't think,
If we're changing an approved plan, it's gonna be the same as Duck Pond. We're changing an approved plan.
yeah, but I don't
We have
think,
to notify the
is he
abutters.
gonna ask for a change? He hasn't, has he?
He's gonna have to.
He was asking for our advice.
Yeah, but he's gonna have to ask for a change, because now it's obviously, the
If-
berm's out, any trees that were planted on her,
Berm
on
on
the
their
abutters
property,
land
or
are gonna be
her
out.
Her property.
Any changes to the abutters land is gonna be out. That was all part of the site plan, so I mean, I think he's gonna have to come back with a site plan eliminating that stuff.
I mean, the site plan's just gonna take that off.
He's gonna have to have a revision of the site plan and take the berm off, I guess, but
Right.
Yeah.
All right, I'll email him and ask him if that's what he wants to do, and if he changes that berm on that plan, we need a public hearing again.
I believe
Yeah.
so.
Okay, I'll let him
If we
know.
had to do it, if we had to do a public hearing
That's
for
right.
Duck Pond, we have to
you have to
do
do
the
it for
same
that.
thing.
Yeah, that's what Laura said, anytime you
I
change
thought he was
something like
just, because she didn't,
Let's assume we have the public hearing, we make that change, and the abutters still refuse to sign off on the driveway permit.
Well, not the
Driveway
driveway, the
agreement.
maintenance, well,
We'll change that too.
yeah,
It is
just
here
go
on-
without.
Let's make sure that we do it
Yep.
so that the abutters cannot
'Cause I don't think-
unreasonably hold up.
Yeah, I think
The
that,
agreement.
I think it's, they're being unreasonable, holding him hostage at this point, and it's a
When-
business.
We did advise him to call his legal counsel,
Yeah.
and if he
That's what I
felt
was
he
gonna
was
say.
in, to call the police department as well, if there was any.
If I was him, I'd have them move their chicken coop
Yeah.
now too.
Here's that
Is the chicken coop
conceptual.
on his property?
Yeah, the chicken coop's over the property.
Oh,
Oh,
that's the conceptual, if you want, we could just let him know.
yeah,
what
I
he
mean,
said.
it's, so, okay, and I guess all bets are off at this point.
I don't see us having any way for her to comply, other than what's already been approved, right?
Yep.
We
That's
brokered,
what what she agreed to, that's what.
They- yeah, they
is on
brokered-
record
they
to
both
the
agreed.
agreement.
They brokered a
That's
deal,
the-
and we agreed to it along with them and
That's the
approved
document
it.
that's authoritative, right?
Yep,
did either of the applicants sign anything indicating that they, quote, accept the plans? Or really
I
it's
don't
just-
remember if they signed, but they sat
Yeah,
right
but-
here and did it in a public meeting.
Yeah,
It's in the minutes.
it's whatever's on the plan, and the board signs the plan.
Yep.
That's between the applicant, well, that's not really.
Yeah,
Yep, but they, I know that,
Because they
The
were not the
problem is,
applicant.
he's gotta do work on her land, so he's never gonna be able to complete that site plan because she'll never let him do it.
Great.
the only sticking point, and one of the sticking points she had besides the trees, because she wanted different trees, was that she wanted boulders along the driveway and field so the kids wouldn't go in there. And then, but wanted them big enough so they could get a tractor trailer, so. And that was, my suggestion was a gate, because there's no way you're gonna put boulders if you can move them back.
right, I remember the gate.
And then,
But if
but,
I remember, she wasn't here when we finally
Right,
approved
she
it.
didn't come to the last meeting.
no,
She was here the meeting before that, suggesting whatever kind of arborvitae it was.
yep,
Right, he
Right.
made the change of
I mean,
the,
if
Continued it for
we
2 weeks.
scheduled a public hearing and he came in with a plan, taking everything off of her property that's on there,
then
and we could then potentially
approve it.
reapprove the plan right then and there, so he's not coming back and forth 3 or 4 times.
Right.
Right, I agree with that. And then send,
The only thing we're changing is the boulders and the
Yep.
berm and the driveway agreement. That's all
Yep.
we're
And
discussing.
the location of the chicken coop.
Yeah, he can bring that up if he wants to.
he could bring that up in his,
So the berm, the what?
the berm
The driveway maintenance agreement.
Boulders,
and the boulders along the driveway for,
Berm, boulders, maintenance,
If I was him, I would bring up the chicken coop.
okay. So remove those from her property and redo the plan and come back for a public hearing.
Yep.
Okay,
which
I'll let him know.
she'll be present.
She still has to be present, yes, but,
She has to be notified. She doesn't have
just to be
present.
notified.
right, I mean, yeah.
She'll,
Yeah, but see, that's what I don't understand why.
that may start the fireworks again, but I think at this point,
If she
all
was
bets are
there to
off.
present about what type of trees she wanted the previous meeting, the meeting, and everything got approved after she said yes to him.
Yeah. I mean, you know,
we put pressure on the applicant to accommodate the neighbor.
and I don't
Felt
think,
that was the right thing to do.
and I don't think, I
The
don't
neighbor
think,
has upset that apple cart.
and I don't
by
think
refusing
we,
to go along with the things that she previously agreed to.
And
I
that's
don't
a-
think,
and
I
that's
don't
a
think we
civil-
pressured him. I think we, you know,
Yeah,
he listened to
conceptual.
it, and, you know, that was a sticking point, and he agreed to it, because he wants to get on
I don't
with
think
it.
we pressured him because I came out and said I didn't like arborvitae.
No, that's right.
So I wasn't agreeing with her. And he put the arborvitae's in anyway because that's what she wanted.
Yep.
And normally it would be a civil issue and not a town issue, except he can't move forward to get his building permits unless he meets the conditions of a site.
So do we need to change the condition that there be a driveway agreement?
Yep. If they won't sign it, then,
But he
then
has-
I guess,
He has to take care
So we need
of
to
it.
put something in there that in effect is the driveway agreement.
yeah, that he's gonna maintain the driveway, or that he'll have to agree to it, that he's gonna do that, and have him, but it gets to the point where the driveway turns off to go,
Well,
Yeah.
it's back and forth across the property line too.
yeah, it's gonna be, once it goes across, you know, that she has to get to their residence, it's all bets are off at that point, or, because he's only gonna maintain the part that goes in and out of his
That's the
business.
problem.
Yep,
Okay,
so I think at this point, it's like, You know, I think it's,
If I was doing that, I'd take the revisions off, leave everything else the same, brand new application, here you go.
yep.
I'll let
I
him
would do.
know. Do you want me to hang on to that then, and, because the Mylar's with it too?
What, here, Mylar?
I don't know. I think he
Okay.
emailed one day and said, I'll be dropping off the Mylar and the plan to sign. It's like, oh, okay, but it's a site plan. Why are you giving me a Mylar?
Because he felt like it?
Yeah,
Okay.
Some towns record them.
some towns do record, yeah, the other town I used to work in, they record all their site plans. Here you don't, so. But
I'm sure somebody out there.
that's all I had.
Did you make a motion, Neil?
I
Oh,
prefer
you
executive
think-
fiat.
You think in the pandemic, I should be declaring things over? Since we have a pandemic going on?
Make a motion, we
Anybody-
adjourn, is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, I'm looking for that, yeah.
Make it for motion, we
Do
adjourn.
we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Anybody need it
Discussion,
before you
all in
leave?
favor?
Aye. Good night.
Night, Bruce.
Night, Bruce.
Night,
Bruce.
Thank you.